Yeah, and let's talk about Sony and how they have canceled the release of the movie The Interview. And now we've talked about it actually last week during our Spider-Man story. Sony's been getting crazily hacked by these guys. Now it has been confirmed by the FBI that these hacks are coming from North Korea, and that is because North Korea is a little bit upset about the movie The Interview, and that's because in the movie The Interview, Seth Rogen and James Franco play these two. I guess one's a producer and one's like an Oprah Winfrey, Barbara Walters type, interviewer, very famous interviewer.
Mm.
And Kim Jong-un wants to be interviewed by them. And so they go to North Korea to interview him, and the CIA says, hey, when you meet him, you have to kill him. So, yeah, North Korea wasn't too happy about that. Also, apparently...
It's a little bit of a ridiculous setup, too, because, like...
It is really ridiculous.
We actually have sent people to North Korea to talk to Kim Jong-un and tour around. At least they haven't tried to kill him. I don't know. Maybe the CIA
Well, Dennis Rodman met him.
Yeah, I know. Dennis Rodman, hasn't he met him like a couple times now?
Yeah, they're like buddies. But yeah, I mean, it's it's an American movie, and if you saw any of the previews, it's these two idiots trying to do this mission, and they're not going to succeed because they're just so stupid. But apparently, the depictions of Kim Jong-un are he's almost like homosexual, so like they didn't like that in North Korea, so they're like, oh no. And then the whole premise of them killing him, they weren't too happy about that. And so so Sony bowed to the pressure and they said, okay, we're canceling all the releases. That was going to come out on Christmas Day, no longer. So yeah, there's a couple things that have come out since then. Like for instance, Obama actually came out and said Sony made a mistake. You should not bow to the pressure of terrorists, which pretty much the North Koreans are doing. And you have, but the hackers also came out and said, hey, look, we're happy that you're not going to release it, but we're not going to stop hacking you until you never release the movie ever in any form. Sony was talking about doing like a video on demand, or even releasing it through their free video service Crackle. I don't know if anybody's...
How can you do an until never?
Yeah. Well, this is North Korea we're talking about. This is North Korea we're talking about. And they also said if they ever see it on a piracy site, attacks will continue. So,
okay.
like if Pirates Bay gets a copy of it, they're going to attack again. I guess what they're
saying is, like, you have to publicly show us you burning all copies of this film.
But it's digital. I mean, it could have gotten out there somewhere. And there are people who have seen it. A lot of reviewers have already seen this movie. They've sent out those digital copies all over the place. I mean, what can Sony really do about keeping it under wraps? A lot of these movies leak out anyway. Yeah. How are they going to stop this from... If you couldn't stop it when you wanted to make a lot of money off of it, how do you stop it when you don't want anybody to see it? You can't. You can't. I'm telling you right now. The internet is a crazy thing. Once it's on there, it's out there forever. In any type of digital form, it's always there. So watch what you put out there, people. But so I just thought this was kind of interesting. And it kind of shows you why you're not supposed to negotiate with terrorists. Because after you did what they said, okay, well, we won't do that, then they make more threats telling you to control things that are pretty much out of your control. We don't all live in like a country like North Korea where the internet only goes to one computer.
Don't we?
We don't. We don't. And the other thing I'm trying to think about is Sony probably their company has a bigger net worth than all of North Korea put together. Like,
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what North Korea is worth. I mean,
I would imagine North Korea has close to the bottom economy. I bet you Sony's economy.
Doubt that. No, just on nukes alone, like having any kind of nuclear capabilities, that's worth so much money. So,
but I think China gives it to them.
Doesn't matter. They have it. So, okay, China gives them 1,000 pounds of gold or 100,000 pounds of gold. They still got it.
No, that's true. That's true. But it's just crazy. But Sony's definitely more technologically advanced than North Korea. Nobody knows how to use a computer there. There's literally like 5 people who know how to use a computer. Watch the documentary
really well.
Well, okay, maybe that's the case. Maybe they trained real hard. Like, watch the documentary on Vice.
Well, someone knows how to use a computer because that's how they were hacking them.
Yeah, those 5 people are hacking them. Like I said, like there's only 5. Like there can't be many more. But watch the documentary on. It's on YouTube. It's by Vice. It's the Hermit Kingdom where they send Dennis Rodman. They actually send Dennis Rodman to North Korea. That's how he got hooked up with them. And watch when they go to the computer lab. Like they're like trying to show the world that, hey, we know how to use computers. Look at these people all using computers. And like everybody's literally not doing anything. Like they close up on one person's screen. It's got the Google homepage on it, but like he's not allowed to click on anything. And then everybody else is just not even typing or doing anything. The most you're allowed to do is like move the mouse around, and it was all just like for display. And then they're like, oh, hey, let's just talk to one of the people in here, see what they say. That guy right over there. And of course it's the one guy probably hacking Sony right now that they talk to. So yeah, it's just pretty interesting. But then you have another flip side. I think you remember this. We did a story on this game a while back. But there's a guy out there making a game called Fearless Leader. Do you remember that one, Brennan?
Yeah, I remember that.
The Kim Jong-un game, where he takes over everything. And he says he will not stop making his game. He doesn't care what they're going to do. But he is asking for help
to beef
up his security. I don't think he has. And I think North Koreans...
I think he's kind of like that. He's kind of flown under the radar. Because it's not as big of a... it's
not nearly as big. But I think the North Koreans also kind of look at him and like, oh, they're making a game that honors our great leader. Yes, because you play as Kim Jong-un, who just like murders everybody and like he's like a super action star, like an Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone type guy running through levels. And he hasn't finished the game quite yet, so he's adding in levels. And apparently he's adding in a level where Kim Jong-un tracks down James Franco and Seth Rogen and takes them out. So it's pretty interesting. This is a game I do want to play when it comes out. So yeah, I don't know. Do you think Sony should have bowed to the pressure and canceled their project? Or should they have just stood strong, withstood the barrage of attacks, or beefed up their security like they have the money to, I bet?
And what are all those theaters that already had the space planned for those movies going to do? Well, I know one theater that I've heard of is going to replace it with Team America.
And that was nixed as well. I forgot to mention that.
What?
All the theaters that were going to replace it with that are not going to replace it with it now. They weren't. They were going to, because that's another one that makes fun of North Korea. But apparently Paramount was like, nah, no, we don't want that. So
I mean, they already released Team America, so
a long time ago. Yeah.
So
I think they're just worried. But also there was threats that came along with those, saying that any theater that showed the movie would have violence happen in the theater or something like that. So, which again, North Korea, your people are like 4 foot tall. So if you see a 4 foot tall Korean man, watch out. He might have something to do. But I mean, that's pretty easy to spot.
I thought they weren't allowed to leave their country.
They're not. That's what I'm saying. That's why.
Except
so I'm not really
going to take out movie theaters for view showing Team America.
But let us know what you think. Should they have stopped it? Should they not have? Is this what happens when you negotiate with terrorists? Hit us up. Let us know. Comments down below. Of course, at Where's My Face on Twitter, Google Plus and Facebook. Always good ways of getting a hold of us. But let's keep.